There is an invisible force that governs entire societies, more dangerous than malice, more destructive than hatred, and you are surrounded by it at this very moment. It doesn't use weapons, doesn't need armies, and operates through the people you least suspect. And the most terrifying part, it might be operating through you. Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote these words while awaiting his execution in a Nazi prison. A man who faced evil head-on, who witnessed the worst of humanity manifest before his eyes, came to a conclusion that shocks to this day. Stupidity is more dangerous than evil. Sounds absurd, doesn't it? But listen carefully, because this insight can explain almost everything that's wrong in the world around you. Bonhoeffer wasn't talking about lack of intelligence. There are brilliant people with diplomas hanging on their walls who are profoundly stupid. And there are simple people without formal education who possess a wisdom that defies any book. The stupidity Bonhoeffer describes is something far more sinister, far more dangerous. It's a disease of the soul, not of the mind. Let's start by understanding the obvious. Evil is easy to identify. When someone commits a cruel act, when a person lies, manipulates, or deliberately destroys, we can point and say, this is wrong. Evil has a face, has intention, has consciousness. Hitler knew what he was doing. Stalin understood his atrocities. Evil can be confronted, can be exposed, can be fought. It leaves traces. It provokes outrage. It awakens resistance. But stupidity? Stupidity is a ghost. It operates in the shadows of conformity, in the fine print of blind obedience, in the comfortable silence of those who prefer not to question. It has no malicious intent, no diabolical plan. And that's exactly why it's undetectable until it's too late. When you try to argue with a stupid person, you're not dealing with someone who disagrees with you. You're dealing with someone who has surrendered their ability to think. Imagine trying to play chess with a pigeon. No matter how brilliant your strategy, the pigeon will knock over the pieces, crap on the board, and fly back to its flock, celebrating victory. Bonhoeffer observed something terrifying. Stupidity is not a defect people are born with. It's something they allow to happen to them. It's an unconscious choice, a silent surrender. Under certain circumstances, people perfectly capable of thinking decide to stop doing so. And when this happens en masse, when a wave of power emerges, whether political or religious, large portions of humanity are infected by this plague. The power of one needs the stupidity of the other. This is the equation that governs tyrannies. It's not just malignant leaders who destroy civilizations. It's the masses of stupid people who follow them, who applaud, who execute orders without questioning. The Nazi executioner who sent entire families to the gas chambers wasn't necessarily a sadistic monster. He was often just a stupid man following orders, incapable of seeing the horror of what he was doing. So what is this stupidity after all? It's the surrender of your inner independence. It's when you stop thinking for yourself and start thinking through the lens of the group, the ideology, the charismatic leader. It's when slogans replace thought, when clichés take the place of reflection, when you prefer the comfort of collective certainty to the discomfort of individual doubt. And here's the crucial point. This stupid person doesn't feel they've lost anything. They feel complete, satisfied, even superior. When you present facts that contradict their beliefs, they simply don't believe them. When the evidence is irrefutable, they dismiss it as irrelevant. And when cornered, when they have nowhere left to run, they don't reconsider their positions. They attack. Stupidity is an armor impervious to reason. Have you ever had that feeling? That moment when you try to explain something obvious to someone and realize your words simply don't reach them? It's like shouting inside a soundproof room. The person is there looking at you, but your words don't penetrate. It's not that they disagree with you. It's that they can't process information that threatens their worldview. Bonhoeffer saw this happen to an entire nation. He saw educated, cultured, sensitive people transform into blind tools of a genocidal regime. And the scariest part? They didn't realize it. They were convinced they were doing the right thing. They were bewitched, as Bonhoeffer described, blind, manipulated, abused in their very essence. Now take a deep breath, because here comes the part that hurts the most. You are not immune. I am not immune. No one is. Stupidity doesn't discriminate. It can infect anyone who lowers their guard, who chooses comfort over truth, who prefers belonging to being right. Have you ever caught yourself repeating an opinion that isn't yours? Have you defended an idea just because everyone around you defends it? Have you avoided asking a question because you were afraid of seeming ignorant or not fitting in? These are the first symptoms. Stupidity starts small, insidious, a compromise here, a conformity there, until, without realizing it, you're no longer thinking, you're being thought by the group. And the most dangerous thing is that this makes us feel good. Belonging is comforting. Being certain is reassuring. Not questioning is easier, and so gradually we surrender our inner freedom, our capacity for critical thinking, our humanity. If you felt discomfort just now, that's good, very good, because it means you're still alive inside. It means some part of you still resists, but if you continue with me, I need you to understand something fundamental. Merely recognizing stupidity doesn't defeat it. You can read all the books in the world, watch all the videos, collect all the facts, and still fall into this trap. Bonhoeffer was clear. Only liberation, not instruction, can overcome stupidity. It's useless to show the stupid person they're wrong. They need to be liberated. And here's the cruel paradox. Most of the time, this internal liberation only happens when there's external liberation first. While the power that enslaves them continues operating, while the environment that cultivates conformity remains intact, no amount of knowledge will help. It's like trying to teach someone to swim while they're trapped at the bottom of a pool. First, you need to release them. So what do? How do we escape this trap? How do we protect our minds from the infection of stupidity? The answer is both simple and terrifying. You need to cultivate and fiercely protect your inner independence. And that means going against everything society teaches you. It means questioning everything. It means being willing to stand alone. It means accepting uncertainty, embracing doubt, enduring the discomfort of not having all the answers. Think about the people around you that you truly admire. Not celebrities, not influencers. People who have depth, wisdom, integrity. What do they have in common? They think for themselves. They don't follow the crowd. They ask difficult questions. They endure being unpopular when necessary. They maintain their inner freedom, whatever the cost. But there's an even deeper secret that few know. Stupidity doesn't operate only at the individual level. It's a social phenomenon, a collective disease, and it thrives in specific environments. When a power emerges, whether a charismatic leader, an ideological movement, or even a digital platform that controls the flow of information, stupidity spreads like wildfire. People begin to surrender their capacity to think in exchange for belonging, for security, for certainty. And the more people do this, the harder it becomes for those who resist. Have you noticed how difficult it is to maintain a different opinion when everyone around you thinks the same? It's not just social pressure, it's something deeper. It's the erosion of your own confidence in your ability to perceive reality. When 1,000 voices scream a lie and only you see the truth, you start to doubt yourself. And that doubt is the gateway to stupidity. We live today in an era of unprecedented stupidity, not because people are less intelligent, but because the mechanisms that cultivate stupidity are more powerful than ever. Social media that creates confirmation bubbles, algorithms that only show what you already believe, leaders who simplify the complex into easy slogans, ideological tribes that demand total conformity, and worst of all, a culture that punishes questioning and rewards obedience. Every like, every share, every time you repeat a narrative without verifying, you're feeding the beast. You're unconsciously choosing stupidity. And the scariest part? It feels like intelligence. It disguises itself as conviction, as purpose, as being on the right side of history. Bonhoeffer saw where this leads. He saw it with his own eyes. He saw an entire nation, an educated and cultured people, march cheerfully into the abyss, convinced they were building paradise. And when he tried to warn them, when he tried to awaken people, he didn't find malice. He found stupidity, people who simply wouldn't listen. And it was this collective stupidity that made the Holocaust possible. Not Hitler's evil, but the stupidity of millions who chose not to think, not to question, not to see. Here's the naked truth that no one wants to hear. The greatest threat you face doesn't come from secret conspiracies or cartoon villains. It comes from your own tendency to surrender your power, to think in exchange for comfort. It comes from your desire to belong instead of being right. It comes from your fear of being alone with your doubts. And we all feel this. We're all tempted by it. The difference between wisdom and stupidity isn't in intellectual capacity. It's in the courage to maintain your inner freedom, even when everything around you conspires for you to surrender it. And now, the hardest part to accept. You cannot save others from stupidity. No matter how much you love someone, no matter how clear the facts are, if the person has surrendered their inner freedom, your words won't reach them. All you can do is protect your own mind, cultivate your own independence, and hope that your light inspires others to seek liberation. Bonhoeffer died trying to liberate his people. He paid with his life for refusing to fall into collective stupidity, and his last words before being hanged were about freedom. Not external freedom, but internal freedom. The only freedom that truly matters, the only one no one can take from you unless you surrender it. So what do you do with this now? How do you live in a society increasingly dominated by stupidity without being consumed by it? You start small. You question one belief per day. You verify one piece of information before sharing. You read something that challenges your opinions. You talk to someone who thinks differently, not to convince them but to understand. You allow yourself not to know. You embrace doubt as an ally, not as an enemy. And above all, you protect your ability to think as you would protect your own life, because that's exactly what it is. Without it, you're not really alive. You're just a tool in the hands of whatever power emerges, a puppet dancing to the tune of invisible strings, a victim consenting to your own enslavement. Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity isn't just a historical analysis, it's a warning. A red alert flashing about the state of our society, our culture, our own minds. And if there's one lesson we need to extract from all this, it's this. The most important battle you'll fight in life isn't against external enemies. It's against the constant temptation to stop thinking, to surrender to the comfort of collective certainty, to trade your humanity for acceptance. Bonhoeffer lost his life defending this truth, but he won in a way the Nazis could never destroy. He maintained his inner freedom until his last breath, and his words echo through the decades, awakening those who still have ears to hear. If this video disturbed you, if it stirred something inside you, that's not accidental. It's the sound of your own inner freedom crying out for attention. Don't let it die. Feed it. Protect it. Live for it. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone who still has a spark of critical thinking, struggling to survive, share it. Because the only way to combat the epidemic of stupidity is, one person at a time, to awaken to the importance of thinking for yourself. Like this video, if it resonated with you. Subscribe to the channel if you want to continue this journey of self-discovery and liberation. And most importantly, commit today to being a guardian of your own mind. Because in an increasingly stupid world, thinking for yourself isn't just important. It's a revolutionary act.